Let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered why some people win while others just wish? Why some rise and others stay stuck? It's not their background. It's not their education. It's not even their talent. It's how they think. Every single day. Because here's the truth, my friend. Your life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change. And that change begins in the mind. Winners don't think like everyone else. They don't complain. They don't blame. They don't hope things will get easier. They get better. They get stronger. They sharpen their mind every day until winning becomes a habit. And if you want to change your life, you don't need a miracle. You don't need permission. You need a new mindset. So today, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the mindset of a winner. Not just motivation, but transformation. Not just goals, but mental discipline. Not just dreams, but a way of thinking that makes those dreams real. Because if you can change your thinking, you can change everything. Let's begin. You know, one of the first things my mentor said to me was this: Jim, if you keep doing what you're doing, you'll keep getting what you're getting. At the time, I didn't like hearing that, but I needed to hear it because I was living day to day, just trying to survive, pay the bills, get through the week. No vision, no direction, no long-term plan. And let me tell you, that's how most people live. They think only about Friday. They think only about the next paycheck. They live for the weekend and wonder why the years slip by. But the winners, they think different. Successful people do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. And one of those things is think long-term. Winners understand something powerful. Every decision you make today is shaping your future. Every hour you waste, every dollar you spend, every book you skip, it adds up. And every hour you invest, every lesson you learn, every habit you build, that adds up too. The key is to start right, then keep going. Let me give you an example. A man says, I'll start saving money next year. But next year turns into 5. And 5 turns into 10. And before you know, Ives 65 with no plan. Now compare that to a young person who saves just a little every month. Not much, just a little, but consistently. Over time, that small decision becomes wealth. Not overnight, but inevitably. Why? Because winners think in years, while others think in weekends. It's not just about money. It's health. It's relationships. It's learning. It's the little choices made daily that multiply into massive change. We must all suffer one of two things: the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Discipline is about seeing the future. Regret is the price of thinking short term. Winners know this. That's why they're willing to delay gratification, to make sacrifices now for rewards later, to suffer the temporary so they can enjoy the permanent. You ask a winner, why do you work so hard now? He says, because I see where I'm going. Clarity creates consistency, and consistency creates results. So here's a question for you. Where are you going? Have you taken the time to think it through? Not just what you want now, but what you want in 5 years, 10 years, 20. Because here's a secret, you're going to arrive there anyway. The question is, will it be by design or by default? You cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction. That's the power of long-term thinking. It changes your direction. Suddenly you stop wasting time. You stop drifting. You stop chasing every shiny distraction. And you start building brick by brick, choice by choice. You begin to live intentionally. You know, I used to say, if I had more money, I'd be better. My mentor said, no, Jim, if you were better, you'd have more money. It's not about having, it's about becoming. And becoming takes time. It takes vision. It takes the long view. So how do you begin? Start with questions. Where do I want to be in 5 years? Who do I want to become? What habits, if I started today, would transform my life by then? Write it down. Think it through. And then commit daily. Not once in a while. Daily. Because the winners, they don't win because of luck. They win because of compound thinking. They plant seeds every day, knowing one day the harvest will come. And that's the mindset I want for you. Think long, act daily, and never ever underestimate the power of one small decision repeated over time. That's how winners think. And that's how you change your life. You know, people often ask me, Jim, how do I achieve big success? And I tell them, you don't start with the big, you start with the small, and you do it well. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. That's the secret. Everybody wants the mountain. Few are willing to climb it. Everybody wants the harvest. But only the winners are out there planting seeds, watering them, pulling weeds every day. They focus on the small wins. Let me tell you, the big win doesn't show up with fireworks. It sneaks in the back door, dressed as 1,000 little victories. Let me say that again, 1,000 little victories. Getting up when you don't feel like it. Reading the chapter instead of scrolling. Making that one extra call. Finishing that task, even when no one's watching. That's how winners win. You want the big one? Then train yourself to win the small ones. Because here's what I've learned. If you can't be trusted with the small, you won't be trusted with the big. How you do anything is how you do everything. Think about that. You take shortcuts when it's easy. You'll break down when it gets hard. If you fold under pressure, in the little things, you won't stand tall when the stakes are high. So what do winners do? They treat the small as if it were big. They show up fully even in the little things. They know that the person they are becoming is being shaped, not on the stage, but in the shadows. Let me tell you a story. There was a young man who wanted to be successful in business. He had big dreams. He said to his mentor, I want to make millions. The mentor smiled and said, Great. Let's start by showing up on time every day this week. The young man said, What? That's it? The mentor replied, Yes, because if you can't win that small battle, what makes you think you'll handle $1 million decision? That hit me, because I realized the person who builds the dream isn't born when the dream is big. He is built in the process, in the repetition, in the daily disciplines no one sees. Don't major in minor things, but don't ignore the minor victories either. You want big confidence? Start by keeping one small promise to yourself. You want big momentum? Start by stringing together a few small wins. You want a powerful mindset? Then train it, moment by moment. Here's what happens when you do. You build credibility with yourself. You trust yourself more. Your mind learns, when I say I will, I do. And that belief, that's the foundation of the big life. So today, ask yourself, what's one small thing I can do that moves me forward? What habit can I begin now that compounds later? What victory can I win today that leads me toward my future? Because the small is where the magic is. Let me give you one more picture. The mighty oak tree, it didn't show up as an oak. It started as a seed. But that seed had everything inside it. It just needed to be planted, nurtured, protected consistently. You want to be strong like the oak? Start like the seed. Start small and stay faithful, because winners don't wait for the big to begin. They begin and the big follows. So win the morning, win the hour, win the next task. Do it right. Do it with focus. Do it with discipline. And when you stack enough of those small wins, one day you'll look up and realize you've already won the big one. That's how the mindset of a winner works. They win small until they win big. You know, one of the biggest differences between people who win and people who stay stuck is how they think about opportunity. Most people, they live in scarcity. They believe there's only so much success to go around, only so much money, only so many chances, only so many open doors. They say things like, well, he got lucky. She took my spot. There's no room for someone like me. But winners know better. Success is not in short supply. Opportunity is not in short supply. Thinking is. Winners understand that life is abundant. The pie is not limited. You don't need to take someone else's slice. You just need to learn how to bake your own. That's the mindset shift. Scarcity says, there's not enough. Abundance says, there's more than enough. I just need to grow to receive it. Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. See, the person stuck in scarcity is always waiting for someone to save them, waiting for permission, waiting for the perfect time. But the winner, they're growing, they're building, they're thinking beyond the limits. You know, my mentor told me something once. He said, Jim, life responds not to need, but to seed. That changed everything for me, because I used to walk around saying, I need more money, I need more time, I need more chances. But that's not how life works. Life doesn't respond to what you need. It responds to what you plant. You plant service. You harvest income. You plant discipline. You harvest freedom. You plant value. You harvest influence. That's abundance thinking. Whatever you sow, you shall reap. Now, that can be exciting or terrifying, depending on what you're sowing. The person thinking abundantly is always sowing good seed, even when no one's watching, even when it's hard, even when the results are far away. Why? Because they know the harvest is coming. It may not be today. It may not be next week, but it is coming. And that mindset, the belief, changes how they live. They're not bitter when others succeed. They celebrate it, because someone else's win doesn't mean your loss. Someone else's success is not your ceiling. In fact, it's proof that it's possible. Winners look at someone thriving and say, if they can do it, so can I. Losers say, they probably cheated. That's the difference. Let me ask you something. How do you see the world? Do you believe there's enough for you? Do you believe you can win without taking from someone else? Because until you do, you'll stay small. You'll stay resentful. You'll stay afraid. But when you shift, when you embrace the abundant mindset, you stop asking, what can I get? And start asking, what can I give? That's where the real winners live. Because life gives to the givers, not the takers, not the hoarders, not the jealous ones, but the creators, the ones who show up with value, the ones who believe in growth, the ones who wake up each day saying, let's build something. Let me remind you, you don't get paid for the hour. You get paid for the value you bring to the hour. Abundant thinkers bring value. They solve problems. They lead with service. They believe there's always more ideas, more chances, more potential. And because they believe it, they find it. You always find what you're looking for. So today, I challenge you. Start thinking abundantly. Don't complain about what's missing. Start building what's possible. Don't resent what others have. Start working on what you want. Don't wait for the opportunity. Create it. Because the world is full of ideas, full of chances, full of people who need what you have. But you must believe it. And the winners, they do. They believe in more. They believe in better. They believe in themselves. And that belief opens doors that scarcity never will. Let me ask you a simple question. When was the last time you fed your mind? Not just scrolled, not just glanced, but truly fed it in purpose. See, your mind is the greatest asset you've got. Not your car, not your bank account, not even your job. Your mind is the factory. What you think is what you become. But here's the problem. Most people are feeding their body 3 times a day while starving their mind for months. They fill up on calories, but they're running on empty and wisdom. Now, I'm not against food. I like a good meal as much as the next man. But if you feed your body and neglect your mind, you're preparing for struggle. Because everything you do, everything you create, everything you become, it all starts in the mind. Winners, they understand this. They don't leave it to chance. They feed their mind every single day. Let me tell you something my mentor told me when I was just starting out. He said, Jim, your mind is a garden. If you don't plant flowers, the weeds will take over. That hit me hard because I realized it's not enough to hope for good thoughts. It's not enough to wish for inspiration. You've got to be intentional every single day. Let me paint the picture. You wake up, you roll out of bed, you grab your phone, and the first thing you see, the news, chaos, panic, negativity. You scroll through social media, comparison, distraction, noise. Then you get in the car, radio blaring, commercials, complaints. Before you even start your workday, your mind is already cluttered with weeds. And then we wonder why we feel tired, why we feel unmotivated, why we feel lost. Let me tell you why. You've been feeding your mind junk. You are what you read. You are what you listen to. You are what you think about all day long. Winners know this. That's why they feed their mind with purpose. They turn their car into a classroom. They turn quiet moments into reflection. They read the good books not once, but over and over. They understand you don't rise to your goals. You fall to the level of your thinking. So they think better every day. They study leadership. They listen to great thinkers. They stretch their mindset with new ideas. They don't just work on their career, they work on themselves. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Let me repeat that. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Because here's the secret. When you improve, everything around you improves. Your job gets better. Your relationships grow stronger. Your health starts to shift. Your confidence begins to rise. And it's not magic. It's not luck. It's mindset. And mindset is built through daily input. Now listen, this doesn't have to take all day. You don't need 8 hours. Just 20 minutes in the morning. Just 15 minutes before bed. Just one idea a day that challenges you, that uplifts you, that pushes you forward. That's all it takes to start compounding. And it does compound. Because one idea becomes a habit. One habit becomes a lifestyle. And one lifestyle becomes a legacy. I'll give you an example. A young man came to one of my seminars once. He said, Jim, I'm stuck. I'm lost. I don't know what to do. I asked him, how many books have you read this year? He said, none. I smiled. I said, start with one, just one. Come back in 90 days. He came back, but he wasn't the same. He had read 5 books. His posture had changed. His vocabulary had improved. He had a glow about him, confidence, clarity. And he said, Jim, it all started when I stopped feeding my fears and started feeding my mind. That's the power of intentional input. So here's what I want you to ask yourself today. What am I feeding my mind? Is it helping me grow or keeping me stuck? Is it building me up or tearing me down? Because the truth is, you don't get what you want. You get what you are. And what you are is shaped by what you think. And what you think is shaped by what you feed your mind. So be intentional. Be deliberate. Surround yourself with good books. Turn off the noise. Plug into wisdom. Revisit the ideas that matter. Don't wait for motivation. Create it. Don't wait for inspiration. Plant it. Don't wait for the breakthrough. Feed the roots until it grows. That's what winners do. They don't leave their mind unguarded. They build it, brick by brick, page by page, thought by thought. And in time, their outer life begins to reflect their inner discipline. So, if you want a better life, start with a better mind. Feed it every day on purpose. Because when your mind is rich, your life begins to overflow. Let me tell you something that most people don't realize. Before you can have the life you want, you must first be able to see it. And not just with your eyes, but with your mind. You must visualize it. Everything begins with thought. First the mental, then the physical. That's the order of success. You don't get what you wish for. You get what you picture with clarity every single day. Winners know this. They don't just go through the motions. They take time to see where they're going. to create a vision of the life they want. They live from the inside out, not the outside in. Most people, they let their past write their future. They let their current circumstances dictate what's possible. But winners, they use their imagination to shape their reality. They say, this is what I want. This is who I will become. And this is the life I'm committed to create. They see it long before anyone else does. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you closed your eyes and saw the best version of your future? Not the version full of worry. Not the version based on doubt, but the version full of abundance, full of strength, full of peace, prosperity, and power. Because if you don't see it, you'll never walk into it. You must learn to see yourself the way you want to be before you ever get there. That's the starting point. But there's a second part winners know. They don't just visualize the life they want. They speak it. Yes, they declare it. They affirm it. They breathe life into it with their words. Because the words you speak are seeds, and those seeds grow into reality. Let me tell you, I've seen too many people talk themselves out of their own potential. I'm not good enough. I never get lucky. People like me don't succeed. Those aren't just words. They're spells, negative affirmations, and they shape your mind, which shapes your belief, which shapes your life. But winners, they know better. They speak in alignment with where they're going, not where they've been. They say, I'm growing stronger every day. I'm building a life I love. I can learn anything. My best days are ahead of me. They speak like it's already done, because the mind moves in the direction of your dominant words. Don't say what you don't want. Speak only what you want to bring into your life. That's power. One man I met years ago, he was struggling, broke, lost, doubtful. But every day he got up and declared, I'm a millionaire in training. I'm disciplined. I'm focused. I'm attracting opportunity. Now at first, nobody believed him. They laughed, mocked, shrugged him off. But he kept going. He saw it. He spoke it. And he worked for it. A few years later, he was living it. He had become exactly who he said he would be. And he told me, Jim, the hardest part wasn't the work. The hardest part was believing it before I saw it. But that's what winners do. They believe it before the results show up. They say it before the proof arrives. They see it before the world agrees. Because they know the outer world will always follow the inner one. So what does that mean for you? It means you've got to take control of the vision in your mind and the language on your lips. Every day ask yourself, what do I want to build? Who do I want to become? And what words am I using to shape that future? Because you're shaping it, whether you know it or not. Winners take that power seriously. They rehearse the life they want over and over. They wake up and say, this is going to be a great day. I'm in control of my attitude. I'm becoming the person who deserves success. They don't leave their future to chance. They program it into their daily thinking. They feed it into their daily language. And slowly, they begin to walk into it, step by step. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's the law of clarity and consistency. You don't get what you want. You get what you think about. You get what you speak about. You get what you work toward with vision. So today, I challenge you. Visualize the life you want with vivid detail. Speak the future you want with bold confidence. Show up like the person you're becoming, not the person you've been. Because that's what winners do. They don't just chase success. They create it from the inside out. And remember, whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But first, you must see it. Then, you must speak it. And finally, you must live it. That's the mindset of a winner. Let me leave you with something to think about. The greatest gift you can give yourself is the mindset of a winner. Not the kind of winner who just crosses the finish line once. No, I'm talking about the kind who keeps winning. In health, in wealth, in relationships, in growth, in peace of mind. And how do they do it? Let's remember what we've covered. First, winners think long-term. They don't sacrifice their future for temporary pleasure. They play the game that matters most, the one called legacy. Second winners focus on small wins. They know you don't conquer the mountain in one step. It's daily disciplines, repeated over time, that build greatness. Third winners think abundantly. They understand there's enough success, enough joy, enough opportunity for everyone. So they rise and lift others with them. Fourth winners feed their mind every single day. They don't leave their attitude to chance. They build it, sharpen it, strengthen it through books, mentors, reflection. And fifth winners visualize and speak the life they want. They see it before they live it. They speak it before they feel it. They declare it before they become it. Because they know success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by the person you become. So the question now is simple. Who are you becoming? What are you thinking every day? What are you saying every day? What are you doing every day? Because success doesn't come in a moment. It comes from a mindset. And that mindset is something you build day by day, choice by choice, brick by brick. Start with one small win. Choose one abundant thought. Feed your mind one good idea. Speak one new belief into your life. Visualize one powerful outcome. That's how it begins. And before you know it, you won't just be thinking like a winner. You'll become one. And once you do, there's no limit to how far you can go. The same wind blows on us all, but it's the set of the sail that determines the direction of your life. So set your sail like a winner. Think like a champion. Live with purpose. And never forget you are the author of your future. Thank you, my friend. Keep growing, keep thinking, and most of all, keep becoming.